Hello, welcome to the video. This video is for IGNOU postgraduate students, those who have completed post-graduation through IGNOU and obviously through other Indian universities. In today's world, getting a job of an assistant professor in India requires an eligibility test qualification. The eligibility test that you have to qualify for the post of assistant professor is called the National Eligibility Test, or NET. It is conducted by UGC. The test is organized by National Testing Agency. National Testing Agency chooses local centers where they conduct the examination and they publish the results. They conduct it for UGC. So the test is called UGC NET. Usually, in nowadays, after NTA, National Testing Agency, has started conducting the test, some scholars do call it NTA NET. And the qualifying examination, the qualification test that I'm going to talk about today is UGC NET, or also known as NTA NET. It is the same exam that I'm going to talk about. So for those who completed their post-graduation through IGNOU, many of them ask, mostly those who completed their post-graduation through any distance or private education, private registration programs, distance education, open universities or private registration, all of them ask, how can they prepare for UGC NET? How can they prepare for NET? You will find tons of videos on how to apply for NET and what are the criteria for NET, what is the eligibility criteria, etc. Usually the eligibility is 55% marks in your postgraduate examination. Then you can apply. The test is conducted twice a year, and recently there has been some new changes, such as, for example, there are 3 different selection processes. The first selection will be for the PhD, the second one will be for assistant professor only, and the third one, the top one, will be assistant professor with junior research fellowship, or JRF, in which case you will be getting a scholarship for completing your PhD along with your assistant professor qualification. So once you qualify UGC NET or NTA NET, you can download a certificate of UGC NET in which it will be written that it is for assistant professor only, or assistant professor plus JRF, or PhD only. So for a scholar, obviously having the certificate means they can now apply for assistant professor jobs. In the present scenario, as per the new changes, obviously you have to qualify that second middle certificate, which is for assistant professor only, as a minimum qualification for assistant professorship. You cannot apply for assistant professorship if you have a PhD NET certificate. So having that cleared, now let's move on to how to prepare for NET. This is the biggest question. Many scholars ask me how to prepare for UGC NET. Now, we all have come across qualifying exams in varying degrees or varying types in our lives. For example, let us think about a driver's license. What is a driver's license? If you want to apply for a driver's job, or if you want to drive a car, obviously you might be requiring a license to drive that car in public roads. If you want to apply for a driver's job, obviously you need a driver's license as well, for your personal purpose as well as for your professional purpose. Now, the UGC NET certificate, especially assistant professor certificate, is such a license for you to apply for assistant professor's job. The test involves teaching aptitude tests, general information, general knowledge. They will test that. Also, there will be questions on your subject area. So overall, this test analyzes your awareness about the core subject, your major, whatever subject you are going to teach or whatever subject you have applied for, and also for other like a teaching aptitude and all. They will check that as well. So it's a good test. In a way, it's a competent test as well. So what we need to understand here is that we need a very solid preparation in order to qualify NET. Now, in today's video, we will be discussing how to prepare for UGC NET in English, because that is my subject area, and that is why we are going to discuss that. How to qualify NET, how to prepare basically. What are the materials that we can use in preparation for UGC NET in English? That is the question we are going to address today. Now, for English NET exam, the history of English literature is a very, very important topic. Now, there are a couple of branches in the history of English literature that we have to address also. One branch is the new literatures, which means the literatures after 1950s in general, where English literature has branched out from Britain into various post-colonial countries and to various other parts of the world. These countries and literatures from these countries play a very crucial role in expressing themselves in English language today. So English literature today is not just limited to literature written in Britain or in America. It is also about these small countries, or should I say post-colonial countries rather than saying small countries. So it is very important to learn these new literatures, learn about them, such as, for example, literatures written in Africa, Australia, India. So all these areas, all these places, that is a major area we need to take a look at. Then how can we do that? We need to take a look at contemporary literature. We have to have a general reading for that. We need to read some general articles, general information. We need to keep an eye open for general information, which also includes the general knowledge related to English. For example, who won the Nobel Prize in the previous year, or who won the Pulitzer Prize, the Booker Prize, all these, who's the author who wrote this particular new sensational book, etc. Those, contemporary information, general knowledge, so to speak. Now, there is another branch of English literature that we have to keep in mind, which is literary theory. Literary theory is, in fact, just like literature, it is a branch of cultural studies. It is also overlapping with philosophy and even science in certain cases. So we need to take a broader look at it, and we need to take time to find proper books to prepare for these areas. Now, first of all, let us look at the history of English literature in general. Which book can we read to get a comprehensive idea about the history of English literature? The first book I would like to suggest is Edward Albert's History of English Literature. Edward Albert. This book you can buy from Amazon. I will add the link here. So you have to purchase this book first of all and read it from cover to cover thoroughly. Every page you have to read. It covers literature from Old English literature to the modern literature. Okay, so modernist literature until 19th, 20th century. So it covers a very, very vast area, but in a very comprehensive way. Especially this book is useful in order to study the Old English, medieval English until the Renaissance period. This book is a masterpiece. This book can help you get a grasp of the history of English literature from Old English to almost like early modern period, the Renaissance period. So this is a very important book, Edward Albert's History of English Literature. Now, another book that I'd like to suggest for the history of literary theory, or the basic ideas, the ancient philosophy, Greek philosophy that gradually evolved into literary theory and theory in general. There's a book by Introduction to Literary Criticism by B. Prasad, which I found very useful in this matter. It covers from Plato, Aristotle to I.A. Richards and all these 18th, 20th, 18th, 19th century literary critics. It does not cover any contemporary theories, it does not cover that, only it covers until the 18th, 19th century, I think. Yes, so you have to buy that book, you have to read it again from cover to cover, you have to understand it properly, learn the main points, learn the theories from ancient Greek to 18th century. That is the period that the book covers mostly. Now, another book that I would like to suggest for preparation for UGC NET in English is Beginning Theory by Peter Barry. Very, very, very useful book, let me tell you. Beginning Theory, Peter Barry. Note it down. This book covers from new criticism, close reading, to the latest eco-criticism, I think. That is what I've seen last time I checked. I think they must have updated it in the recent editions. So you can find even the latest theoretical discourses in this book, Beginning Theory. It's a very good beginner's guide. It's a very good book. It has even worksheets where you can actually practice your theoretical awareness once you go through the chapters in the book. Beginning Theory by Peter Barry. This does not include the ancient Greek philosophy that gradually evolved into literary theory in today's time, but it includes the close reading new criticism, from new criticism to structuralism, post-structuralism, etc. Post-colonialism, it covers all that. So it's a very relevant, very important book if you want to study this 20th century literary theory in a very, very detailed and comprehensive way. Good language, clear language, very easy to understand, but you have to sit down and read it. That's the important part. Now, another book I would like to suggest is The Glossary of Literary Terms by M.H. Abrams. The Glossary of Literary Terms by M.H. Abrams. This book is a collection, it's almost like a dictionary of literary terms. It's a glossary, by the way, of literary terms in which M.H. Abrams, in his serious academic language, defines almost all the concepts that we come across in literary theory. You could even find like theories, whole theories written, included in this book in very concise manner, For example, if you want to search the term colonialism, discourse, or post-colonialism, or structuralism, or post-structuralism, or feminism, you could find the entire movement's history, the entire nuances related to the movement, written in a very, very concise language, capsule-like presentation, which will help you understand these concepts within a very short period of time. But the only downside is the language is dense because, as I said, the information is condensed into a few pages, few passages. So, for example, it talks about structuralism. I think in 2 or 3 pages, it describes everything in it, covers the whole thing, which we know it's not very easy, which we know is almost next to impossible when it comes to studying structuralism and explaining it to the fullest, right? Yeah, because we probably took a whole year to cover that in our course. But M.H. Abrahams skillfully condenses all the information within a few pages. So that makes the book extremely valuable for any scholar preparing for UGC NET. This is a fundamental book. This is a very important book that anybody should have who's even thinking about preparing for UGC NET in English language and literature subject. Okay, so these are the 4 major books. Right? First one was Edward Albert's. Second one was B. Prasad, Introduction to Literary Criticism. The third one was Beginning Theory. Fourth one was Glossary of Literary Terms by M.H. Abrahams. 4 books, 4 stepping stones, I would say, 4 very important tools, I would say, that you can use to crack UGC NET in English quite easily. But I would also suggest you to go through at least one guidebook which is available in the market. You can choose any guidebook for that matter. Just choose one small guidebook for the first paper, which also includes questions on teaching aptitude and questions like that. In order to cover that, you can do one more step, and that is to go through research methodology. That's a major area that is asked for the first paper in UGC NET. Along with teaching aptitude, this is a very important area. What is that area? Research methodology. So if you have an understanding, if you're somebody who already has an experience in doing a coursework for PhD, then you already know what I mean. Then you don't have to really bother too much about that side. But if you are a fresh postgraduate from any open university or any university for that matter, you may require to go through research methodology. Any book, you just Google any good book on research methodology in humanities, in English literature, then you go through that book. There is a book by Kothari, I think, which is available in Google. Just go through it and it will be very, very useful for you. But obviously, these research methodology books are very, very long, tedious reading, and you have to go through them. Otherwise, the shortcut could be just to get a guide, any just local good guide for UGC NET, just for the first paper, only for the first paper. You don't need a guide for the core papers because the textbooks that I suggested are more than enough for taking you through the preparation process. But if you want to know the previous questions, etc., then obviously you can invest money in guides. If they have previous questions and discussions on previous questions or solved answers for previous questions. So in order to purchase the guide, your intention should be to get, number one, teaching aptitude questions. What kind of questions are asked for teaching aptitude? Second would be research methodology. So 2 areas. And the third area is contemporary information, general knowledge, which I think, as I said, you have to open your eyes, keep your eyes open, read newspapers once every day, once you go through international publications, international journals online, and then you will be able to grasp a few of those contemporary information, and you will be safe on that side. You don't have to worry too much about it. So these are the major points you have to keep in mind for preparing for UGC NET in English. So I wish you all the very best. For those graduates, postgraduates who just finished IGNOU, MA English from IGNOU, I wish you all the best. And for those who have completed their graduation from any other open university or university in India, you have to understand one thing, and that is your MA syllabus, the syllabus that you studied, is in itself the syllabus. That exactly is the syllabus for UGC NET. the basic syllabus. So the study materials that the students of IGNOU already get during their MA in English, even that study material is a very, very good material for preparation for IGNOU. So if you haven't completely read that material while writing your MA English exams, then I'd suggest you to go through those study materials once again and just read them out, cover to cover, whole materials, so that you will have a good grasp on the syllabus that you studied, because your post-graduation syllabus itself is UGC NET syllabus. For those who are MA English scholars, MA English postgraduates from other universities, I would like to suggest go through your own syllabus and notes that you compiled before writing UGC NET exam. Hope this video is useful, and hope you made notes on the major points and the names or titles of the books that I suggested. Try finding these copies from Amazon. I will see if I can copy paste the links below this video. Let me know if you have any questions regarding this in the comment box below. Subscribe to this channel, because this channel has English videos as well as regional language videos. It is not a channel only for regional language videos. On education, this is a channel which features English videos on education in India and across the world. So this is very important that you should keep in mind, and share this video with your friends, with your well-wishers, whoever is preparing for UGC NET in English. I wish you all the best. Keep supporting, keep reading, keep working hard, and see you in college.